God damn it. They actually did it, William.
They goddamn did it. They went and done blown it up.
They actually finished the Jeddah Corniche circuit. I didn't think from based on progress pics from what 2 weeks ago, a week ago even, I was like, there's no way. But lo and
Yeah,
behold, it's there.
fun fact, this was actually the ocean. They brought all that sand in from the US and dumped it into the ocean until they could build a track on it. And they did all that in 2 weeks. It's
Wait,
insane.
so really they did that?
No.
Oh, because
No.
I was looking at it like a pre-picture, and it looked like it was just a bunch of coast, and I was like, did they fill that in? Because you know how they
Well,
have those
Saudi
islands.
Arabia does that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have those islands in Dubai, I think,
They
that they
literally
just
just
like
got
built.
money to build islands.
Yeah, I can't believe it. New circuit. Everyone seems to be really loving it.
Yeah, I mean, except for the people who had to build it.
Yeah.
Except for all the workers who probably are buried underneath that track.
Yeah, yeah. I can't imagine the amount of labor intensive force that went into building this. Especially, I think they had just started construction in it this year, so it's pretty insane that they were able to spin up a track in
Yeah,
less than a
well,
year.
when you don't have any labor rights, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can get those boys working.
Yeah, apparently they were working like day and night.
Yeah. I mean,
So
they needed to. Like you
yeah,
said, the pictures from a week or two before was an unfinished track.
yeah, yeah. I know when the F1 channel released that like YouTube video, I was just kind of like, what the hell? There's no way that's gonna be finished in time. And then you got Michael Massey right there being like, yeah, this is gonna be an incredible circuit. You can see like
Dude,
his sweat coming out of his fucking forehead.
he's extremely nervous. Yeah, he can lie all he wants. But, watching free practice 1 and 2, this track is super flowy.
Mm.
Really fast, and it looks like if 20 racers are really close to each other on those fast turns and something goes wrong, everybody's bouncing off the wall like NASCAR.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen from free practice, it's super fast. A lot of people like it. I mean, from the numbers they did today, Mercedes looks quick. But a little bit about the circuit. It's 50 laps, 3.8 miles a lap, and you have, I think it's like 78% of the time you're on this track, you're full throttle. So it is fast.
Yeah, super fast. And actually, so it's funny that you bring up that statistic because earlier this week I heard that same thing, right? And I was like, damn, that's pretty crazy that you're on it, almost 80% of the time. But apparently, some of the other circuits are like in the mid 70s, low 70s. So it seems to be pretty common, but this is the fastest one so far.
Well, and then there's Monza, which is like 84% of the time you're flat out. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to watch. I have a bad feeling it's going to be Monaco 2.0.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to rush for that first turn, and then it's just going to be follow the leader as fast as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
Overtakes are possible, at the start and finish line and through that windy speed bit on the back end of the track. I think it's shit. There's 27 turns. Yeah, turn like 19 through 22. There's chances for overtake, but it's tight. I mean, it's really tight.
yeah, I think, we've already gotten to experience the track on the F1 game. I really enjoy it. Although when I play it with other people, when I've played it with you, it's a little more difficult and it just becomes really just chasing whoever's ahead of you and hoping they make a mistake so you can pass them and
Yeah.
hoping their mistake doesn't make you make a mistake as well.
It's gonna be interesting to see what kind of tires they're gonna put into the race to start off. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna start on mediums. It would make sense to go long on this one with just 50 laps, but it's gonna do it's gonna be a lot for these guys.
Yeah.
High pace, not a whole lot of visibility the whole time, and walls are up. So if you make a mistake, you have a blowout, somebody bumps into you, you're going straight into a wall.
Yeah, Charles, I think it was like around turn 22, something around there. He ended up kind of sliding, and his car looked completely ruined. I think they even mentioned in the chassis that it looked like it kind of compromised that, so he's gonna have to get a new chassis as well. So anyone crashes, their race is completely over. I anticipate we're gonna have a few yellow flags, safety cars tomorrow, but I'm not really sure. I've said that about some of the more dangerous tracks, and they've been pretty good. So
Yeah, it could be Monaco. I mean, the only thing I could think is the title contenders going neck and neck through those high-speed turns.
Yeah,
Everybody else, I'm sure they do not want to destroy a car right before the end of the season.
yeah, definitely not. Did you hear about the Kidya circuit? It's this circuit that got leaked, and apparently with that, so Jeddah is going to be just for this year, and once they start, I believe it's next year or the year after that, once they start having it more frequently, they're going to bring in a new track, and a leaked image of the Kidya circuit came out, and it looks just like an absolute monstrosity. It looks like half of the circuits combined, including distance on those.
Yeah, it's only 34 turns.
It looks absolutely ugly. I hope this is fake because if anyone thinks this is a good idea, then wow, that's kind of insane.
Yeah, it looks disgusting, but whatever, 34 laps of this. But I kid you not that if they built this, it'd be worth way too much money.
Yeah,
They'd spend all this fucking time on it just for a lot of people probably not to like it.
yeah, and a lot of the hearing a lot of the drivers liking this track, um, I think what Saudi Arabia is going to try to do is have two GPs there, so they'd probably
Yeah,
have the Jeddah one and then this one here.
a double header where next week you just walk over the street to a 34 turn track that's
A
18 miles
monstrosity.
long. They should just recreate the Nuremberg in the desert. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, they have the funds to do that.
Yeah, they might as well.
So free practice one, free practice two. Not too much drama happening, but there were a few standouts in terms of the teams. It looks like the top two are the title champion contenders, with Lewis ahead in both sessions, and Max in second the first session, and then fourth
But
the second.
just barely. So
Yeah,
we shall see on qualifying because it's going to come down to it. I know they're both saving their best for Q3. But man, windy track and Pierre Gasly sitting pretty. I really hope he gets a good qualifying. Maybe AlphaTauri can claw their way back to fifth, but it looks like their title chances are out.
yeah. I think what's going to mess up people's qualities tomorrow is going to be a crash, and so it's going to be a session red flag, or even a yellow flag where someone has to back out of it. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to be, how usually they'll do the fastest lap at the end. I think it's going to be get your best one in at the beginning, and that's probably going to be the one that sticks because Q3 someone's going to crash. Someone's going to be pushing it way too hard. Hopefully it's not Lewis or Max, and hopefully it's maybe somebody else, but hopefully it's nobody so we can get a good satisfying quali.
No, I have a feeling like qualifying could be crazy, but I have a bad feeling, I guess, that the race is going to be everybody dives bombs turn one to try and get position like a fucking madman. And then it's just going to be like Monaco where everybody just drives in the same pace, same line, because there's not a lot of room. It's a new track. It's the end of the season for a lot of teams who aren't really competing. I know they're all super competitive and they're not going to give up their spaces, but they also don't want to destroy themselves over it.
Yeah, not in the last two races. So with that said, what do you think? What do you think for quali? Which teams, which drivers do you think are going to take pole tomorrow?
It's got to be Mercedes. I mean, it makes me sick to my stomach to say it with how close Verstappen's getting, but Hamilton just is pulling all the stops. He woke up one day after losing to Verstappen one too many times and said, "Yeah, he's done. He's done winning."
Yeah,
And he's shown his dominance in two races now, and I think he's ready for a third. And I know free practice doesn't show everything, but they've obviously got a good idea how the track's working out.
yeah, yeah.
But
That
again, positioning for the race. So if it, even if qualifying is 1-2 and Verstappen's 2, if he gets a good jump and he gets out in front, it's going to come down to pit stops.
yeah.
Because I don't think Verstappen's going to give up any spots, any positions on this track. It's too
Yeah,
tight.
no, no. He needs to at least score above fifth, I would say, max. And so he's definitely not going to give that up so easily. Do you think there's going to be any standouts that get up in the top 10 for qualifying Q3 maybe?
Yeah, I'm hoping Sonoda sneaks in. It looks like Williams is just getting beat up on this track. They cannot figure it out. I mean, they're sitting pretty with Haas right now and Alfa Romeo and everybody else, but this might be AlphaTauri's turn. If Sonoda can get in there on a good qualifying, maybe sneak into Q3, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the one that I'm looking at is Alpine. They were pretty strong in both free practice 1 and 2. I think they've definitely got that two driver power to, at least come home to a fifth or sixth if their pit stops go good.
Yeah, I'd love to see Alpine and AlphaTauri race it out instead of McLaren and Ferrari because they're kind of boring.
When I tuned into free practice 1, I saw that McLaren was actually doing pretty good, and they just completely fell off in session 2. So it
Well, they
looks
might
like
have
the
been
other
taking it
people,
easy.
yeah,
They might have been working things out, trying something new that just didn't
didn't
fit the
work.
bill. That's what free practice is. I don't try and read too much into it.
Yeah, I think with McLaren, we might see them in the Q3 because they did so well in Monza. I think this might be a track that suits them as well. So
Okay.
I'm gonna vote top 10 surprise is gonna be a McLaren, and I think pole, I think surprisingly is gonna be Bottas. He looked
Bottas is
really
fast.
strong.
Yeah, I'm sure you can't see him, but I'm sure he's smiling ear to ear driving through this track.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
absolutely.
talking on the radio, he sounds like he's having a blast.
Yeah. Moving on to race predictions. Who do you think is gonna be on the podium?
Man, do I have a coin anywhere I can flip? Because it's gonna, whoever's heads is gonna be 1-2 Lewis or 1-2 Verstappen. Uh, it doesn't look like Perez is gonna be anywhere near it unless he has a crazy quali, which he's proven time and time again he's not that great at qualifying. And Bottas, if he's P2 and he's blocking out Verstappen, it's gonna be tough. Lewis is gonna get a ton of space.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, flip a coin. It's gonna come down to some wild stuff, or it's gonna just fizzle out to where the last 20 laps of the race, Lewis is just in front, and Verstappen just can't find the speed or the space to get around him.
I think I'm agreeing with you 100% because I think Verstappen and Hamilton, it's going to be a toss up, and I think it's going to come down to safety cars. So whoever gets in the lead, whether it's Max or Lewis, they're going to create some kind of a gap, but then it's going to end up closing because of these safety cars. So they're going to have multiple chances. That's what I hope happens on Sunday. I hope there's going to be
Hmm.
multiple chances for them to duke it out.
Well, like I've been saying, it's gonna come down to turn one, lap one. If
Yeah.
you get in front, it's a pretty tough track to overtake unless you're within like zero point 0.4 seconds of them. So if you come out that turn on their bumper going into the final straight through the start finish line, you have a chance of overtaking there. But even then, Verstappen's not afraid. He'll dive bomb you as soon as you overtake him. So
Yeah.
it's going to be wild. I don't want to see him crash. Like he said, if anything, if somebody does crash, and Lewis has the dream when it comes to safety cars.
Yeah. He'll
It's
have a
like
lot
he
of
calls
luck.
him up and says, "Okay, you got to crash now,"
Right
and
now.
he's dipping into the pits already. So when he comes out, everybody's in the pits and he's by himself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to be in for a good race just because, it's the last two races championship. There's various battles going on. Alpine versus AlphaTauri, Red Bull versus Mercedes, Ferrari versus McLaren. I think there's going to be a lot of craziness happening whether it's in the front, the back, or all over the place.
Yeah, and I'd, for one, like to thank our Saudi Arabian overlords for
Hmm.
providing us with this delicious meal of cold air, dry temperature, sandy track in the
Coastal
middle of the night.
winds too.
Coastal winds. Well,
Yeah.
that the walls probably help a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But all I hope is that somebody doesn't just blow up.
Yeah, yeah, I would hate for someone to get like super hurt.
Yeah, because then they're going to do a drive to survive about it, and everybody's going to talk like, well,
There's
we just had
moments
to keep racing.
there's moments on a racetrack where everyone knows what that means. Have you seen that episode?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you
they
need to watch it.
over intensify it.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll be sure to do an episode post race and hopefully we get a really good spectacle.